All right, these are the parts for the Atomic SAO. There's a PCB, a vinyl sticker, 3 self-flashing LEDs, and a 2x3 SAO header. We will start with the header. Get one pad in the corner tinned, and then slide the header into place. Kind of check the angle. That looks really good. The header is right over the pads, and we'll get some solder on all of the pads, and we're going to heat it up, get a good bit of solder on there without making shorts, but we want to make sure that the solder wicks up underneath the pad, rather underneath the pin and between the pin and the pad, to get a good solid connection, because since this is a surface mount connector, this interface between the header and the pads is the only thing that's holding the SAO onto the badge or totem or whatever you're mounting it on, right? So we're just making sure that the solder is all the way down on the pad and isn't just floating up on the pin, because that would not be making a good electrical connection or mechanical connection, right? So that looks really good right there. All right, so that's the whole header in place right there. All right, so for the next step, we're going to put the decal on, the sticker on here, and you need to figure out exactly where it goes. If you look really closely, you can see that these the LED pads, blue, red, and green, and from that you can line up the blue, red, and green, and just it only really fits on one way, so that's not right. Let's try this one. That looks right. See, and you can see there's like a little bulge there, and so the sticker only kind of lines up one way. So you want to just take a second and make sure you know exactly the orientation it goes, or else it's going to look wonky once it's on there. And then you can take the backing off, and then get it on there, and backing it off just about 1 to 2 millimeters off of every edge, right? More or less line up on these spots where the electrons of the atom go. So, and then just to make them line up with the back, you can go around to the back and take one of the LEDs and just poke the long pin through the hole so you can see it on the other side. But get it through there, and then you can see the long pin on this one goes towards the center. So we'll go ahead and put it through the other side from the front, and put the long pin towards the center of the SAO. Go all the way through, and see that lines up pretty well. And then on the back, again, just make sure where it says long pin and short pin, that's the long pin and the short pin. And we'll bend them a little bit to get them out of the way, and then we'll do that with all 3 of the LEDs. Again, poking through the vinyl from the back, and then making sure we know which one's the long pin, and going back through that one in the front, and then get it all the way in, and then double check long pin and short pin, bend it into place, and then the last one we get the hole poked, and the long pin goes on that side, and get it all the way in, and then look on the back and double check long pin, short pin. That looks pretty good, and then we'll go ahead and solder them. And as anytime you're doing through-hole soldering, you want to make sure that you get enough solder on there and it makes a nice little volcano-looking mountain up onto the wire, and that the solder also gets down into the through-hole that the pin's going through. technically a via since it's actually a through hole, but kind of the same thing. Alright, and there they all are, and they should be nice and flat. Looks like we could flatten that one out a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to trim all these off. Make sure you have your safety glasses on, because when you're cutting things they can fly around. Also, even just for soldering, get your safety glasses on, and then that's it. Let's put it onto a totem and light it up.